today I'm going to be showing you guys my Roth IRA portfolio and the two funds that I have in it currently and the two funds that I will probably be buying until retirement. So let's go into it. I have my Roth IRA with Robinhood because of the 3% match that they offer. I just like the way that works and the way that 3% match just gives me a little bit of a boost. But look, this is my regular brokerage. If you guys want to see what's on this one, leave it down below. And let me know what you guys invest in your Roth and what brokerage you guys use personally. But look, let's get straight into it, man. Roth IRA and a quick little rundown on what a Roth is. It's pretty much like a retirement account, but you put in post-tax dollars. So then when you withdraw it at retirement, you don't pay taxes on what you withdraw. All right. And that's just a simple explanation. You guys can do a little bit more research on that, but it's just a little rundown. But look, I have currently $7,134.15 in my Roth. And I'll go down to the breakdown of everything. And as you can see, my contributions for this year are pretty low. I'm not gonna lie, I need to be increasing that. And I pretty much started my Roth in 2024. I had a Roth before that was up to like $2,000 that I had like a few years back, but I had to withdraw the money, which I don't recommend doing and you should never be doing. But expenses came up, I had no job, I had to do it. But look, last year, 2024, I almost maxed it out. I had $1,000 left to max out, which is the closest I've ever been to maxing out a Roth IRA, which I'm really proud of and thankful for. And as you guys can see right there, $177.75 was from the 3% match, which is a beautiful thing. But this year, I'm only at $590, which is nothing, man. We're already halfway through the year, and I've only contributed $590. That is actually pretty bad, if I really think about it. And I've only gotten $17 with the match. And look, if we scroll down to what we're actually contributing into, so you guys can see, I hold two funds, and the first one being VT, a Vanguard Total World Stock ETF, which is pretty much a combination of VTI and VXUS, which is pretty much all of the US stocks, small, mid, and large cap, and then all international stocks, but put into one fund so that you don't have to buy both. And people do end up wanting to buy both because then you can split the percentages off. So like if you want 80% US and then 20% international, you can do that. But this, it's weighted and it adjusts itself so you don't have to mess around with it. But I just like it just because it's simple and it's something that I can just keep stacking and putting money into that I don't have to think about and just let it grow over time. And look, right now, it's at $124 year to date. It's up about 5%. And if we look at max time, it's up 150%. And there are different funds and different things that probably yield a higher return. But I like the simplicity and I like the diversification of the VT fund. And that's why I have this in my Roth. And look, if we go down to my position, I have 43 shares. Market value at $5,400, average cost of $118, and this is pretty much 80% of my portfolio in my Roth, and I'm up $287 on this. And if you guys can see, I buy $18 a day. I might lower this and increase the other one, and let me show you what the other one actually is. SCHG, the Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF, which is pretty much a growth ETF because I do want to have some growth and I do want to be more focused on the large cap companies that could yield a higher return just because I'm young and there's a lot of growth coming. So I feel like this is a good fund to hold to get some exposure into that growth side of things, because I have the stability and the diversification with VT, which I like. And I would just consistently always buy that. And then this is a little bit more risky and more centralized in the top growth companies. But I like that because I want to see some of that. And look, right now it's $27.98. I have 48 shares of this, market value at $1,300 pretty much. My average cost is $26.42. Total return is $75. So this is a fairly new Roth IRA portfolio, so my returns aren't going to be crazy because I'm pretty much setting the foundation currently. And look, I buy $8 of this every day, but I'm thinking of decreasing the VT daily contribution and increasing the SCHG daily contributions. It's just what I'm thinking, just because the other one I'd rather just stack slower and let it build over time, but I want to put more into this to potentially see more growth from this. You get what I'm saying? Because this one does tend to have a higher return. As you can see, year to date, well, actually we're kind of a little bit down, but max is 791%. So it does have a little bit more growth, but it's also a little bit more volatile, and it swings more than VT and less diversified. And none of this is actually financial advice, but this is just what I do and what I'm liking at the moment. But if we go back into this portfolio, if we go back and see a timeline, a month, and I'm gonna put it at all times so you guys can see the actual increases. I'm up. Year to date, I'm up. And I was able to catch a lot of these right here when the price freaking dropped, which is such a beautiful thing to be able to experience. In the year, I'm up 600, and all time I'm up 600. And the thing is, pretty much 200 of these dollars is from the match and not from actual gains of my investments, which is why I like the match. And the match is just a freaking beautiful thing, man, because sometimes you get it with your employer, and why not have it on your Roth? But you do have to get Robinhood Gold in order to get the match. Without it, you get a 1% match, but with it, you get a 3% match, which ends up being like $210 if you fully max it out, which I want to take advantage of that. And I'm really going to be focusing and trying to max out my Roth IRA this year. And I will get it done one way or another, and you will see it happen, man. But I have considered, let me show you this before. So you see I've put in $6,500. And look at the swings, man. Look at the swings. And I will want to see this year after year after year, all the swings, so you guys can really see how things go, you know? Like, they go up, then they drop down. They drop down, they keep going up. And then this is when things started to get a little shaky, as you can see, started losing money, but they recuperated a little bit with all the terror stuff right here. And then, boom, we were down at a point $466. But at this time, I was still buying and lowering my cost average, which is a pretty good thing. And then they recovered and even went even higher, and now we're at $7,100. And I have been thinking of adding another ETF or stock or something, a REIT maybe, or a dividend fund. I'm not entirely sure if I should or not yet. The main thing I'm really focusing on is, as you can see, the recurrent investment is switching this up a little bit maybe, and increasing SCHG and maybe decreasing the VT. But for now, I'm gonna keep it like that. And for now, this is what I invest into my Roth. And I try adding like $200, $250 a paycheck, pretty much $500 a month to my contributions. I have been cutting back a little bit just because I'm trying to build up my emergency fund before I focus on some of my investments. But I do want to lock in and get this increase because I am trying to max out 2025 contributions. And you can only go up to $7,000. I can go into a little bit more detail in a future video, but this was just really to break down the things I'm investing in and just my strategy overall. But yeah, pretty much $500 a month contributed, and then $18 a day into VT, $8 into SCHG. And these are the two funds that I have right now, and the two funds that I will probably have until retirement. Of course, I might switch over more to a stable like bonds and stuff as I get closer to retirement. But for now, this is what I have, and this is what I will be contributing into. And I do have other portfolios, and I would be dropping videos on those also. But this is like my bread and butter, and like my main focus is the Roth because of the benefits you get when you actually retire and not having to pay taxes on those withdrawals, which is such a beautiful thing. But look, let me know down below if there's anything I should add or what you currently hold in your Roth and where you have your Roth IRA. Again, not financial advice, but this is just what I'm currently investing in and what I plan to invest in for a long time. Take care.